We're in Taipei! Yay! So we finally set off on our year adventure through Southeast Asia. We said bye to family, friends, packed up our little backpacks to go, and we're off on our way.
We made our way to LAX. My mom dropped us off. Saying goodbyes are obviously never easy, but it was finally our time to leave the nest. And so we took that giant leap of faith, and here we are.
Let's get lost while we still can. Life's too fast to take it slow. Good things come to those who Let's go.
Any onward ticket time.
Rachel and I already had our first little adventure before our adventure even started. We got to LAX, we were trying to check into our flight, and we didn't have an outward bound flight, and that's definitely like a noob mistake. We had thought about it, we had heard things, we had seen things, but for some reason we disregarded. We actually got rejected from our flight and had to sit for
Like an hour.
Yeah, about an hour searching for flights. We were looking for refundable flights and a lot of different things. We were searching the internet, scouring for just the cheapest possible flight. We looked from Taipei to Bangkok to Vietnam to everywhere, and we eventually ended up booking a flight.
To Hong Kong. Super cheap. Don't know if it's refundable or not, so.
It was like less than $60 per person one way, and we're gonna have to probably run into this situation again, but it's definitely learn from us. Make sure you guys have your outward flights. Make sure you check with the policies of the country that you're actually traveling to, so you don't look like a fool. Right. This guy came up to us and was like, "Are you guys writing a research paper or something?" We're like, "Yeah, for sure."
We were so intense looking for flights.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to miss this flight.
Yeah. But after an hour and a half, we finally made it to our gate, and we're here. It's kind of like the middle of nowhere in LAX. I've never been to this area. I don't think Rachel ever has to. Nope. So here we go. All right, stay tuned.
If we never try, then we'll never know. If we never try, then we'll never grow.
Many hours later.
So let's go. Let's go.
My aunt picked us up along with her friend whose place we're staying at and her husband. Shout out Judy and Eric, and my aunt.
His aunt took us along the road, and we had no idea where we were going. And we stopped at this local Hong Kong restaurant. It was already closed, but the workers and family were all eating, so they welcomed us in and gave us all their food for free.
And after we had this free meal from this little Hong Kong restaurant type deal, we made our way to Shilin Night Market. My aunt showed us how to get around using the MRT around here, which is the Metro Rapid Transit. You know, it goes from the bus or the subway or even the U-bikes, which you guys can just rent. You swipe your card, swipe back in, and it's pretty easy access to get around. So at this night market, there is cheap clothes, there's cheap food, and there's just everything that you could possibly imagine. You know, when you think of places like Thailand and Bali, people are always talking about the cheap clothes and stuff, but the same thing goes for here. You can catch your own shrimp and eat it for dinner. You guys can go to all these different food stands and try the different types of delicacies that they have around here in Taiwan even.
We got some dank shaved ice.
Oh yeah, so shaved ice in Taiwan is the ice cream froyo equivalent. So if you've never had shaved ice, it's condensed milk, it's ice, they have fresh fruit, we got fresh taro.
Delicious.
And yeah. So now is our next day in Taiwan. We started off our breakfast with danbing, nai cha, and a couple of other little things. So danbing is an egg pancake, nai cha is milk tea, and we also had breakfast sandwiches and a breakfast burger that we both split. Yeah, the burger wasn't good, sandwich was alright, but it was a good way to start the day. After we had breakfast, we headed up to one of the most northern parts of Taiwan, one of the places that even our hosts here hadn't been to in quite some time, and it was known as Jiufeng. Jiufeng is one of the most northern parts of Taiwan, sitting right along the coast, but it is actually a mountain town.
Jiufeng was something we were completely not expecting. We drove up through the mountains and then all of a sudden this view popped open and it was overlooking the ocean and the coastline of northern Taiwan. Super blue waters and greenery all around.
What it's known for is the Japanese gold rush when Japan first colonized Taiwan. It's known for tea houses, and the last thing is what we went for, all the little food, snacks, and local delicacies that they had to offer.
So our hosts are a little bit of wild childs, you could say, and they kept driving up Jiufeng. We had no idea where we were going. We just kept going up the mountain on narrower and narrower roads, and we ended up at this like little entranceway, and they told us to get out of the car and that we were going hiking up the mountain. We weren't really equipped to go hiking, but we said okay. So we started climbing up these stairs and we're told that we would reach this beautiful view that overlooked the ocean and the coastline of Taiwan. But once we reached the top, it was crazy windy and we could barely walk because it was so windy.
So after Jiufeng, Rachel and I were still being hit hard with jet lag, so we just kept falling asleep in the car, and our hosts, Eric and Judy, were driving us to the next destination, and in this case, it was Geelong City.
So we stopped at this local seafood restaurant, super mom and pop shop. It was right on the water, beautiful view that overlooked the mountain. So we walked down onto the beach for a bit, and unfortunately there was a ton of pollution, a ton of plastic, but we were told that I think once a week they come and clean up all the trash. So a ton of plates of seafood came out. We knew what some of them were, some of them weren't, some of them were very obvious, just some squid, some shrimp. Others we just tried, didn't know what they were, but they were actually super delicious.
Yeah, I tried abalone for the first time. It's pretty expensive in the States, and it was even here as well, but you know, you had to try it. We had squid, we had little baby corns, we had crab, we had literally all different types of seafood.
We headed for our first time to the local market, which was super close to where we were staying, and here it had tons of fresh produce, food. It was a really local market, so we were getting a lot of stares for sure because people weren't used to seeing foreigners there, but it was a really cool experience seeing people from the mountains just come down and sell their beautiful produce that they had just been growing on the side of the street.
And after our first little bout at the local market, my aunt's friend was gracious enough to pick us up, and he took us again to the northern coast of Taiwan. So we weren't by Jiufeng, we were in this place actually called Jinsan, but we were in the Jinsan district rather than being in a city. And we stopped at this really small coffee shop that was right on the water, legitimately like right there on the water.
It's a really popular thing along the coast in Taiwan. There's just coffee shops everywhere. It's really all there is along the coast.
And Jinsan, it's this other little small market town where you walk down these streets, there's local vendors selling food, produce, and we had lunch at this place where it was pretty different. You went and you ordered outside, brought your food back to this crazy bustling area where everybody sat down with their families, and we tried some pretty different food for the first time.
I had bamboo shoots, which were really, really yummy, lots of veggies, lots of meats, and then some other things that we don't really typically eat in the States.
Yeah, so my aunt, I I told her, don't tell us what it is and we'll try it. Tried what she thought was pork and it actually was pig intestines. And if you've never had pig intestines, it's kind of like a savory gusher. There's stuff that squirts out when you bite into it and the outside's a little bit chewy, but for me, it wasn't necessarily the taste, it was more the texture that threw me off. So I wasn't too big of a fan of it, but they're really well known here in Jinsan for the pig intestine. Rachel tried some duck, had some bamboo shoots, and we tried a lot of different types of fish as well.
So the next place we went to was Yelio Geopark.
Yeah, and it was this cool little national park, if you will, where there's rock formations of mushroom rocks that over time have eroded and taken shape and forms of different things. And here in Yelio, what they're actually known for is called the Queen's Head. It was a pretty quick trip, really cheap ticket to actually get into there. So if you have the free time, it's pretty cool just to check out for a little bit, but don't plan on spending too much time over there.
So once we left the Queen's Head, we headed to these natural hot springs that were along the coastlines and kind of tucked away into the mountains. And we were super excited to go to these hot springs. We'd both never been to hot spring before, and we were excited to relax and kind of take it easy in these natural mineral springs.
Once we got upstairs, I went one way with my aunt's friend, who's a dude. She went in the other way with my aunt, and we were like, wait, we're not like all going in together, why did we bring bathing suits? And
Long story short, we didn't use our bathing suits.
yeah, I got to know my aunt's friend pretty well, and she got to know my aunt pretty well.
Pretty crazy local experience, I would say. In Taiwan, it's actually super common to just go get your hair washed, not even cut, just a nice wash. It's kind of like a massage, but just for your head. Both of us have thick curly hair, so they were a little unsure of what to do with our hair, and to say the least, the scalp massage felt great, but our hair did not like it afterwards.
And side note, I think it's a pretty good idea to make sure you understand what you're actually wearing on your shirt. This lady didn't, but ignorance is bliss.
The next day in Taiwan, we headed to a little town called Dongmen, and this is actually where Sun's family was from when they lived in Taiwan. And we met up with our host's friend who owned a little clothing shop in Dongmen, and she kind of pointed some ways for us to go and some cool things to see and good food to eat.
Yeah, so Dongmen is a really cute little town. There's a big college there that a lot of foreigners actually go to learn Chinese from. But I would say probably the most popular thing that Dongmen is known for is the first ever Din Tai Fung. If you're from the States, you've ever had a xiaolong bao, you know what Din Tai Fung is. And we thought it was pretty cool to be able to see this because it was actually a surprise to us. We had no idea that this was here, but we saw this massive, massive line, and the wait was
100 minutes?
Yeah, over an hour and a half. And so on this particular day, we decided to go eat somewhere else, get some scallion pancakes. And if you've never had scallion pancakes,
Eat it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing here.
yeah, we've had way too many.
It's like a delicious, thick tortilla almost. It gives me my taste of Mexican food that I miss.
It's called Cong You Bing. Go get yourself some.
After we thoroughly enjoyed our Tsonyo Bing, we headed to a coastal town called Danshui.
Yeah, and so Danshui means fresh water. This is one of the most well-known harbors in northern Taiwan. But we first went and visited Fort San Domingo. So Fort San Domingo just goes to show how the ruling of Taiwan over time has been all over the place. It was first built and founded by the Spanish. The Dutch took over, and then the English came about, and this was all in under a couple hundred years. We're not history buffs, we can just appreciate cool buildings, national monuments, and places like Fort San Domingo. So our favorite thing about Danshui besides Fort San Domingo was the beautiful sunset. It reminded us of Southern California, of back home, and the sun went down in this beautiful red color, and we ended off eating dinner with our hosts Judy and Eric, our friend Mita down in Dongmen, and had ourselves a nice night.